Okay, good morning. This is day 54 of little videos to describe a day or thought in the life of Dominic the schizophrenic, or person with been diagnosed with schizophrenia, is to express that I am actually sane and that schizophrenia is a reality to be experienced. You can go to my pinned post on my Facebook account or on my Threads account to get a synopsis of an introduction to these videos on day 45 at the first 3 minutes. We'll give you an introduction, and on day 17 it will show you why I choose to say targeted I say schizophrenic rather than targeted individual. And so yeah, you can go there, and my book is on my bio section of my Threads account, and medium.com is provided in chapter forms there, and as well as on the comment section of my pinned post on my Facebook. And you can find Dominic Freisha at Facebook or Threads, as these videos go out on YouTube too. Okay, so I'm gonna get into this book here. I'm reading a couple pages a day out of this book, along with some of my other books. And so that's kind of how I go through my day. I just read a little bit of pages out of books, and I learned some languages slowly on Duolingo until I finish training for the Camino with my mom and dad, who are retired, and I want to enjoy that trip with them so that we can enjoy a trip to Spain next fall. And then when I come back, I plan to try to get off this disability and get a job because I need more money. Okay, so Biocentrism, this book by Robert Lanza. I'll show it one more time. And this author is a bit bombastic. And he's like one of these scientific writers that is like him against the world, or he's fighting. It's like the fight of the scientists when they write their books or whatever. Like they've got to, it's like, I don't know, they got to be haughty or something, or they have to be upshots or something, because they're going up against the dogma of the conventional science or something. And so this is like a new science or something, a new idea. And so he's a little haughty, he's a little bit bombastic or whatever in the way that he writes, and in the way science, I don't know, science people are kind of like that sometimes. So I thought that was kind of funny. And he talks in there how in the first couple of pages he talks about how consciousness is is at the center of learning about life, that our physics and stuff have run their course, and other forms of science have run their course, and they have all been ignoring this consciousness as being the source of explaining life. And so consciousness itself is what life is about, and supposedly can explain life or whatever. So that's what his book is going to be about, and I'm going to read it. And I'm not a scientific mind, so I can't really uh, decide one way or the other if what I'm reading is accurate or not. So, anyways, that's the book, and he's a little bombastic, so I thought it was funny. In Fingerprints of the Gods, which is another book by Graham Hancock, he's a little bit more. He's also kind of going up against conventional wisdom a little, obviously, with that book, but he does more in a reserved manner. He's more just kind of like, and for a matter of fact, if they think this, and then what does this mean and stuff. So he's talking about in Fingerprints of the Gods. Yesterday, I talked about how he was talking about Hamlet's Mill of 1969 book, and the procession of the equinoxes being involved in a string of mythologies throughout history, a thread of as a thread that explain the procession of the equinoxes in there. And he was talking about a Mayan, I believe, uh, tale allegory about the Bacab brothers, and these brothers were supposedly stationed in the four corners of the world. And Graham Hancock says we shouldn't read that as, thinking that the world is flat in four corners, but that it is referring to the equinox as you look up into the sky in the four corners of the cosmos and stuff. And so he thinks it's part of an allegory to explain the procession of the equinox. And in this case, both the brothers all survive a flood, which is a common theme in all these, as I understand it, in all these various mythologies around the world. And so, yeah, just getting into that. So it's kind of interesting. And so that's what I read today in that book. In my Wolve book, I was referring to the idea that, or I was struck by the idea that the little wolves playing in the book, they were playing, and the point of them playing was not to win, but to have fun. Like the wolves playing with each other, chasing each other, and play fighting and stuff. And they're just playing to have fun, and they're showing like we're having fun. And it's kind of interesting, like the natural way for uh species like a wolf or whatever, a wild animal, a predator, to play is like not to win against the other wolf, because then you're threatening the other wolf. You're playing to have fun. And it's kind of interesting because, like, as humans, we're like predators or whatever, but we've introduced the idea of playing to win. And like it's fun to win, and winning is everything. And so, like, who introduced this idea of like the pinnacle of play is to be victorious? And that's kind of interesting that somehow humans got on that kick. And we not only do we do that in games or whatever, and I talk about this all the time, but like we've made that the impetus for our system, like capitalism and stuff like that, wars around the world, global combat or whatever. The point is to win, to be victorious, to dominate the other, and it's kind of interesting. We've made it the whole impetus for our system. Like the winners get $400 billion, and the losers end up poor in the street, dying of alcoholism because they can't realize how bad they are, that they lost. uh, I I don't know. So it's kind of crazy, but I was struck by the fact that the Wolves were playing, and they didn't want that. It was the point wasn't to win. Okay, in my baseball park book, I'm still in Boston, and a couple places that seemed interesting were this place called the Lamplighter in Brandan Behan, which is I think it's Behan, and those are pubs or whatever. And I can't really drink anymore, but I could go to a pub with other people, and I could just hang out there, whatever. And I'm actually contemplating drinking like maybe a few times a year and seeing how that goes, because recently, like, I ate a bowl of pasta and they did the fires, or like I do just random things. Like if I eat a piece of chocolate or something, they're gonna do something. If I eat a piece of cheese, or they just coordinate things based on what I do. So maybe the drinking isn't as big a deal as I think. But I got used to not drinking for the health benefits of it, and I'm liking how clear-headed I am. I'm liking how nice it is not to have to be sleepy when you drink or whatever. So maybe I could do it like a few times a year, but I'm thinking I'm gonna keep not drinking because of what happened to Japan and the earthquake in Japan and stuff. And so yeah. Another place that looked interesting in in New England was the New England Aquarium. It looks a lot of fun. And so, yeah, that was pretty cool looking, the New England Aquarium. All right. In this COVID-19 psychological operations and war for technocracy book by David A. Hughes, he's a PhD author. He's in there talking about how COVID-19 was supposed to happen, supposedly was supposed to be rolled out in the 2025-2030 range of organized efforts for the counter revolution, but it was rolled out early due to some findings by BlackRock and findings by people concerned about protests around the world, and so supposedly they rolled out COVID-19 on an earlier time frame, according to him. Like I say, I don't know, but he's a PhD guy. He talks about the targeted individual phenomenon. I happen to know that that is real, so I just listen to this guy and say, all right, what do you think about things? And so this is what this guy thinks about things. And anyways, so uh, he says that BlackRock in 2019 stated that uh, conventional monetary policies were going to not be enough to deal with the next downturn in the economy. And so what David Hughes says is like one of the things that the banking industry is talking about now is linking banks directly to customers. There wouldn't be like an in between. I guess I don't really understand it all, but it's supposedly non-democratic according to David Hughes about the way they're going about their business now, especially with these digital currencies and stuff like that. They want to roll out digital currencies because it will be an undemocratic process. And I don't particularly understand it, but I'm learning as I read this book. So as I learn, maybe I can share what I learned. I'm sure there's probably other people out there that know a lot about this, and this is all new stuff to me. So I once they get into this monetary policies and stuff, I'm not too. I don't understand digital currencies very much at all. So okay, so that's some things that I'm learning about, and yeah. So all right, I was told that I want to close these videos a little better than I have been, and I have to just say that I just have to tell you, I can't promise that I'll be able to close them very well. Today I am because I ran out of things to talk about, but I will probably be going up to the 15-minute mark more often than not. And yeah, so I, I end them abruptly at 15 minutes. I have to stop because that's about the max that YouTube will let me upload a video for some reason. I don't know if I'm on YouTube Shorts or what's going on with that. So, all right, today I'm gonna go move some furniture with my mom outside, and we're getting ready for baby Ella and Collin and Kiana to come soon today, and we're gonna celebrate my mom's birthday this weekend. She's born on the 16th of February. She's gonna be 67, so we're excited about that, and we may go on our Camino hike training later today, and possibly Uncle Ron is gonna come with us on the Camino, and so we're gonna try to see if he can come, and yeah, that's what's going on today. So, all right, thank you. Goodbye, guys.